Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. What's going on, guys? Today we got a real interesting show for you guys today. We have a very important analysis and comparison that we're going to do on the show today. We've already analyzed that poem that was written for Madeline Soto. We determined that that poem was inappropriate in its tone and tenor. And at the end of the poem, of course, whoever authored it made a very interesting and telling confession. I'll read it to you again. As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you. Rest in peace, sweetheart. I will always miss you. Now, we analyzed this love poem to Stephen Stern's handwriting, which we were able to obtain from that 115-page document dump. Now, that's a very interesting document dump that we're going to be analyzing a lot of those documents in the next few days. But I wanted to take the time to go and obtain a handwriting sample from Jennifer Soto. And we have one in here. We have a written statement that she wrote herself, that she authored when the deputies gave it to her to describe the happenings of what happened as soon as Madeline Soto had disappeared. So we have that handwriting sample. We're going to now compare it to that love poem. And I think we're going to be able to pretty much determine that it wasn't Jen Soto that authored that love poem. So we can go ahead and take a look over here. On the left hand of your screen, which is basically behind me, is the supporting deposition that was written by Jennifer Soto. And I'm going to read it out for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this one. I'm going to read it out for you. Sorry. So it says, today around 8 a.m., I saw, redacted, but I'm going to say Maddie. I saw Maddie getting ready for school. I'm not sure what time they departed. Stephen Stearns took her to school and dropped her off close to the school on the Town Loop Boulevard between Town Center Boulevard and Hunters Park Lane around 8:30 to 8:45 a.m. She never made it to school. I went to school around 4 p.m. to pick her up, and she never came out. I searched the area, went to blank office to look for her. I think she's talking about her mother, the grandmother, and could not find her. That is the end of the statement, okay? So now I want you to take a look at this statement and take a look at the poem. This is not Jen Soto that wrote this. This is stereotypical female handwriting. Yes, there is a difference, not in all cases, okay? There's nothing that's 100% out there, guys. There are going to be some men that write like females, and there's going to be some females that write like men. It is what it is. We are a very diverse people. We are human beings. We're unique. Each one of us has never existed on the earth and never will exist until the end of time, until the end of the human race. But there are some patterns that we follow. Some patterns that we follow because of culture, because of the chemicals in our brain like testosterone and estrogen. Women typically write with these big blocky type letters. Let's take a look at it. Let's zoom in real quick so you guys can take a look. Look at how those D's are circled, how those A's are created, how those O's are. It's very blocky. Look at this. Look at school over here. Look at that. All right. Now, let's go over here. Let's see if we could find a similar word. Let's see if that's possible. We could find a similar word that we could just say, hey, you know what? Word for word. Word for word. This is like, this is a perfect comparison. So let's take a look over here. You're here. Let's see if there's a you're there. Like, these are typical common words. Let's look at the I. Okay. So let's look at the I over here. And we're going to put it here so we get these two I's. I here, I right there. Let's now zoom in and see what Jennifer Soto's eyes look like. See the eye? I think that eye is much different than this eye. And eyes are really hard to compare because it's really easy to make an eye, right? But still, his eyes are kind of straight lined. They're either following the line or even when they're above the line, they're kind of just a straight line. Hers are slanted, okay? Let's check out those M's. Her M's are blocky and well-formed, pretty uniform. See the M's here? M here with I'm. Pretty well formed. kind of even in their spacing just a little bit. Over here, we looked at this before. Stephen Stearns, who we believe authored this, his M's are kind of small in the beginning. And then you got a little bit of loop that looks like an N, you know? So let's go to the S's now. Stephen Stearns' S's, pretty consistent with the handwriting sample that we saw with Stephen Stearns' supporting deposition that he gave the Orange County Sheriff's Department. He's got these sharp S's where the S slants up and then it comes around with the loop. It's kind of like a straight line with a loop. Some people would say that looks more like a 5 than an S. See that straight line, then a loop, straight line, then a loop? Let's go to hers. Her S's are curved, very slanted. This is the only one that seems like it's kind of like a straight line. Even this one's kind of shortened. Doesn't go as far as Stephen Stearns goes. But if you could just see that's an anomaly because you look at the other S's and they're all loops. They're all loops. They're all loops. So she's pretty consistent. Pretty consistent. All right. So now let's take a look at, let's see if we see any Y's here in her statement. We see his Y's. Let's see if we see any Y's from Jen. Oh man, these Y's are telling. So check this one out. So this is her Y's here. Let me zoom in on that really good. Let's bring that down over here. Bring us over. Look at her Y's. Very unique Y's. It's one motion. Stefan's Y's, look at that Y. That Y is like straight line, straight down. Straight line, straight down. Hers is a one motion Y. She brings it up like this. Bam. There's no break. Stephen Stearns has a break. Line, line, joins them. Hers, one motion. Definitely not hers. Look at the U's from her. Her U's, similar to his in that it doesn't have like a down line, but hers are very wide. Look at that big wide oval of a U. Definitely nothing that we see here in this statement over here, or rather this poem. It's a very disgusting poem, I have to add. It's inappropriate and we know who wrote it, so it just makes it even more harder to stomach. No similarities. So I can say definitively, guys, that this was not authored by Jen Soto. This is not a Jen Soto authored poem, all right? So I guess we could put that to bed, ladies and gentlemen. When we scroll up here, we have Stephen Stearns' statement. And a lot of people are like, oh, look how messy this is. Stephen Stearns, when he's writing this statement over here to the sheriff, he is under duress. He is being questioned about murdering, pretty much. They're not asking him if he murdered at this point. This point is a missing person report. But in his heart, in his soul, in his mind, he is being questioned about murdering Maddie. Whether they say it or not, whether they believe it or not, he's being questioned about murdering Maddie. He is writing this on the go. Also, he may not have something stable to rest on. He might be writing this on a car. He might be writing this on his own hand. He might be writing this on whatever medium. This is a well thought out poem that he took the time to write, that it appears like he stenciled, as though he wrote it first in pencil to make sure that there was no mistakes, and then he copied over it again with a pen to memorialize it with permanent ink. That's what this appears to have, the way that this appears to be written, this poem. Whereas this one, once again, is under duress. And even under duress, look at these S's, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this S. Look at that S. Look at that S. Look at the S's over here. Look at the S's over here. Telling, ladies and gentlemen, look at these S's. It's the same thing. Look at the S over here. Look at the S's over there. It's the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. Look at these S's. So this is definitely Stephen Stearns, in my opinion. You guys can disagree with me. It's okay. It's perfectly all right for us not to agree. But in my opinion, I believe that this was authored by Stephen Stearns. And I've also showed you handwriting sample from Jen Soto. And I believe that she is not the author of this poem. Guys, I'll see you on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.